Oh, this is weird.
This is very strange.
You know what? Can we mirror the video? It's backwards and it's really messing me up. Transform. Here you go.
Flip horizontal.
So much better. I just couldn't deal because I'm sitting on this side, and that was too weird. There, much better.
I suppose it is, but that means everybody else in the world is getting a strange perspective on what's really happening, right?
That's true. They're seeing backwards.
They'll think I'm right-handed. All right, we've tweeted.
Excellent.
We've twatted. We've twat.
I try not to say twatted, but twot maybe.
We twat. We have twatted.
Yeah. It's dumb that we still say tweeted for everything. I curse the company that has put this into our lexicon in a word that I have to say regularly.
What would you say otherwise?
Posting?
I posted to Twitter.
Yeah. I mean, Twitter didn't come up with the word tweet. It was, what was it, TweetDeck? Or no, Twitterific.
What?
Yeah, Twitterific was the Mac app that came up with tweeting as a concept. And then Twitter was like, oh yeah, that's really, really funny, but like...
Wait, so what was... Did Twitter just have like a post button?
I think it was just post, yeah. They also, like, Twitterific came up with tweeting and hashtags because they were like, you could tag your content with like these new strings.
And were they doing the indexing and not Twitter?
I think it was when they saw a hashtag in a tweet, they were just linking to a Twitter search of that. They were like, this is a unique string, and you can like find other tweets by shared content, but they were doing it totally bespoke on top of the API with just basic ass like search.
Yeah. Okay, so we're at session 100 now, which is crazy. This started as a pandemic project in March of last year, or was it April?
I think it was April. I think we got a month into it and we're like, this ain't ending.
Yeah. Okay. So basically like it's been a little bit over a year. We made it to session 100.
Yeah. You just pitched this randomly at me, which nice job.
Yeah. And the original goal was to just learn how to make a game, which we have kind of done.
Shockingly, I feel like I know how to make a game now. Yeah.
Yeah. And now I feel like
Look at that. It's beautiful.
We're graduating in a couple different ways. One, we're now physically in the same room, at least just for this session.
It's wild.
It's really weird and awkward. I didn't realize how much I relied on hiding behind my clever Zoom background. Now I just feel naked.
This is a throwback. This is where we started. We didn't even know about Zoom backgrounds back in the heyday of last April.
And we're also using the capture card that we spent a bunch of money on and then quickly, almost immediately abandoned. We treasured this thing. We would drive it back and forth between our houses because we would take turns hosting the stream. Yeah. And then it sat in a box next to my desk for, I can count now, 12 months until we just busted it out 10 minutes ago, which is great. And it works. It works like a charm.
We broke it out for Hades once, I think.
Oh, no. See, I was playing Hades on my...
Oh, I broke it out. I Hades for my Switch.
I might have used it for Hades.
By the way, you see that's coming out on PS4, PS5?
Are you going to buy it again?
Yeah, I'm going to buy it again.
Well, they deserve your money, I think.
Well, and I don't know, I want to get my trophies. I earned some accolades in that game, and I want them recorded on my...
Will it have enhanced haptics?
It will have enhanced haptics. Everything has enhanced haptics.
Is that true? Hades PS5 haptics? Okay, it's coming. Oh, and then they just throw in the Horizon. This is good SEO. Just Guerrilla Games is just I'm up in your grill.
Wow, yeah, actually, it's one of the search strings is Hades. That's really funny. But the third link there is, I think, the one that will actually say...
Okay, PlayStation blog. What do you have to tell me? All right, so far it looks like it. I played it on the PC, so I think I got it at max resolution as it was.
Play on the Switch. It's actually gonna be nice because I'll have a higher FPS experience.
Because you probably weren't playing at 4K at all, right?
No.
There are physical editions. You should buy the Blu-ray of Hades.
That would be pretty cool. I would be very happy to own a copy of this.
We also take advantage of the DualSense controller's immersive haptic feedback in certain cases.
The example is great.
Such as when you go to pet the notorious Hound of Hell Cerberus.
Yeah, so realistic.
So that's like their one PS5 upgrade.
Is it gonna be like realistic
the dog
dog purring? What haptic does a dog have when you purr?
I'm sure it's just like set rumble to 100, right? Like engage all motors to 100.
That seems right.
Which is fine. Which is totally fine. Session 100. What is going to be new going forward? Well, we've made this game in JavaScript, and I'm not sure what we're going to do today. Maybe we'll work on the game a little bit more, but maybe we can also take a little bit of a tour of how we built the game a little bit. But this is going to be the swan song of us doing it in JavaScript, because I think we've gone from like, well, can we at least learn how to like put some kind of interactive program together, to now actually wanting to make a good game.
Well, we've hit all the strange edge cases of JavaScript where every time we do it, we're like, well, if we had a real language or engine, this would be no big deal. And I think it's held us back.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, I don't know. Maybe we can get into like what we liked about JavaScript.
I mean, the benefits were choice.
Yeah, the benefits are really, really good, right? Like, we can't demonstrate multiplayer right now because obviously we don't have two computers. But we spent probably 3 or 4 months trying to implement multiplayer, and the thing that we just took for granted the entire time, because we could work out of the browser, is that I didn't have to send a game binary over to you for you to play it. I just set up a URL somewhere. It's being served from my computer. We're literally running both the same, exact same source code, so great. Which is really, really great, right? I guess the other thing is that, because we're not using a really mature game engine or anything like that, we just built the game like you would build any other web application. And as web applications go, it's actually not that big, right? Like is there a way for me to count lines of code?
I thought that was the command.
We're just going to download programs now. I mean,
do it.
Yeah. And will it automatically go recursively for us?
I think we're going to have to learn how to use clock here, but clock dot?
Clock, ignore directory.
Oh yeah, no node modules.
There's a .clock ignore.
Oh man, isn't there just a CLI option for this? Oh yeah, exclude list equals.
List file, can it be a directory?
Oops, so...
Oh, I can do an ignore file. Why don't I just spit out an ignore file real quick?
All right.
Because this is critical to the enjoyment of the stream right now.
Now, can GitHub not measure this for us?
Okay.
Doesn't that do that? Wow, you've been searching Manchester United a lot?
Every time I type Manchester and I hit enter without knowing what the autocomplete does, it takes me to Manchester United. Which I have no opinion about one way or the other.
Yeah.
I'm just... Okay, so this tells us...
So I think, go back and make this window a little wider.
And that's just going to do it?
We want the Insights tab.
Give me some insights. Oh my god, this is going to be great.
Contributors? You're gonna dwarf me. Good god.
You can't necessarily tell.
It's actually commit volume here too, not
this is commit volume. Yeah. Yes.
But we can see our diffs there. So if you add up all those numbers, there's our lines of code.
I think the critical number is your lines deleted ratio to lines added ratio. Which is the sign of a solid engineer. I'd say.
Ours are
I want to say you got me beat there.
Ratio wise, I do.
Yeah, it's all about the ratio. It's not going to be community, I'm assuming. Commits. We're really good on Tuesdays, apparently.
Huh. One?
Or was that this Tuesday?
That might have been this Tuesday.
We haven't really been working on the game very much.
I committed on Thursday. What's going on here?
Maybe I committed on Tuesday. I don't know.
Alright, well, I guess we have to figure out clock.
No. Code frequency.
Oh, that's rad. That's actually
dependency
cool.
graph.
Boo.
Actually, we very intentionally said we weren't going to use too many external dependencies, which is, I think, kind of how we work anyways.
I think it worked out. I mean,
it worked out really well.
It has been my career move for doing this stuff solidly. And
yes.
I think it worked out here too.
Yeah. This is not telling us what we want, Dom.
No. Okay, we gotta do
Okay.
the weird command line.
So we're gonna okay, random Stack Overflow, dude.
So wait, the following command worked as expected. Exclude node modules dot.
Why does this person have so many redundant things?
I don't know.
Watch me just add this right now.
Do it. I mean, might as well commit this too. That's too much.
All right. And then out as well, right? I think that'll do it. And we're going to just see how big this is. This is just for the sake of science here. Dot. Oh my god, it's working. Holy shit.
Okay, counting.
Okay.
Now, 500,000 lines of code, I don't think it excluded our shit. Because A, most of that is JavaScript, which is not what we wrote.
No. You're right.
And it's 9 JavaScript files, which I think is probably the outer.
And so if it's counting node modules, we've got some TypeScript in there as well, right? You know, I could just do source, right? Isn't that lucky?
Just do source. That's perfect.
Why did I even bother with this whole ignore file thing?
That looks correct.
It's looking pretty good. I feel good about this.
It's really slow at counting, isn't it? There we go. I still don't buy that. But okay.
How do we have... Oh, you know what? That must be JSON that's in there. It must be 400,000 lines of JSON.
It did count our GLTF files. The tank might be 400,000.
Our GLTF files are JSON, aren't they? Well, I guess JSON is its own category. I don't know what the hell's going on there. There's some .js file in here that's gigantic. At any rate, we're looking at like 14,000 lines of code.
I think 14,000 sounds
like
right,
wet.
Yeah.
14,000. Not a huge program. Whereas if you were just to like run any other game engine, it would be massive. And it would take forever for it to compile. It would take even longer for it to link. You'd have to send that through some network channel to whoever you're playing with if it's multiplayer. The whole point of this is that the time it takes from when you change the game or when you change the source code or change the source assets to when you can actually see the changes reflected in the game is going to be like relatively longer if you're using a more established system, right?
Yep.
You might have to waggle the mouse every 5
I was just saying,
minutes.
does your thing just do this? Okay, great.
Oh, you know what? No, I think this is actually... I think what we're experiencing right now is the thing that my monitor does on this computer. I was never able to figure it out. I think it might be the DVI cable being
It
bent
just
a
goes
little
black
bit. It just goes black.
Oh, man, that's rough.
It happened really frequently when I put the computer together initially.
Huh.
And you can imagine that I was like...
Did you build this thing?
Yeah, I built this
God
thing.
damn. Alright. That's fancy.
Initially, I was like, okay, which component out of the 50 things that I put together, where in this sequence is something going wrong?
Oh, gosh.
And then luckily it kind of ironed itself out. But it's kind of not having a good time right now.
No,
so.
but the stream is still streaming, so
Yeah.
I'll keep wiggling the mouse.
What if we just, like, I bet we can figure out how to turn it off, right?
Turn off.
The screen sleep. You know what? This is gonna be complicated.
Yeah.
Windows is a foreign language to me now.
I was gonna assume. I just thought if it's harder, I was like, well, maybe the cable's just gonna jiggle.
Okay. Yeah.
It's fine.
It's fine. Right. Okay. So, what's gonna change? Like the way that we've got the game now, and if we wanted to change, let's say the color of the trees, for example.
Gosh, it's so easy.
It's pretty easy. Right. Of course, if I remember how to put the game together, I'd know where that is immediately. But I think that it is in tree.ts. Yeah, we set the color right here. So let's turn them into like let's say they're magenta trees now, right? I save. The game recompiles, reloads, and we have magenta trees almost immediately. That felt even a little bit slow, right? just now, because we added a bunch of stuff to rebuild. We have a game editor now. We have the game itself. Things take a little bit longer.
It's true that ES build process is doing a lot of work for us.
Yeah, that felt like it took about 3 seconds. It felt uncomfortable almost. It's like relative to what we're used to, right? But it is really, really nice that we're able to make these kinds of changes. It becomes like a really organic process to make a change and then see it reflected in the game right away. And I think if we had a guiding principle for doing anything technical in making a game, this is it, right? Mm-hmm. This is it. Like, you really want to get to the point where you're not fighting the tools just to see something show up on the screen.
Yep, right? Absolutely.
And I don't know what we're going to be moving to Unity, right? Because that's like the obvious engine. Right?
I think, especially given just the level of stuff we want to do, I don't know. I think in terms of performance, being able to share this with people and being able to sort of like go deeper into the game design and to spend more of our cycles on building like the cool features, we do have to switch to Unity or Game Maker. But I really feel like Unity is like probably the correct balance between the two.
It's funny how all of these tools now, Unreal Engine and Unity, like when you go to their marketing websites, they really kind of like market themselves as like, or at least Unreal does, as like interaction engines or creation engines rather than just game engines. Because I guess they use Unity now for everything. Like most car commercials now are actually just like a video game, like literally like a video game
That's
simulation.
Wild. I mean, you watched The Mandalorian, right?
Yes.
Their entire set dressing is Unreal Engine.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they built their soundstage is like
just a green screen.
It's a circular stage with video panels in 360, and they're doing like camera position tracking in real world to perspective in Unreal Engine.
Oh.
And the video game engine is actually like doing camera motion for the background in a realistic way for these characters that are just like on a sound stage with video screens around them.
And the video screens are there just to provide context for the actors, is that right?
I think what you're saying is that they're actually what is filmed, because
okay, so the camera is actually really shooting
the camera is shooting the video game screen behind the characters.
Wow.
And it moves in perspective with the camera because they've got the notion of camera perspective in their set now, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, these engines do everything.
Yeah. So what we will be getting out of Unity, we're not going to be able to make the Mandalorian, but we are going to get a full graphics pipeline, which, it took us probably 5 or 6 months to get 3D graphics to the, grandiose level that you see here, right? We spent like probably a month on the wireframe rendering, right? Something like that.
And we still have stuff like rigging or animation and a whole bunch of other sort of basics that we probably want eventually.
Yeah. Is this sleeping? Is that what we're seeing here?
I don't think so, but I'm going to move the mouse every time anyway.
Is it coming back when you move the mouse?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Next time I won't move the mouse.
Yeah, so in the interest of science, we'll try to figure that out. People can't see this right now, hopefully, but
I don't think so.
The screen is just going black every 5 minutes.
Does this happen to you when you're streaming?
Almost never.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, almost never. Huh. It would happen. Yeah, it would happen really infrequently. This is actually the first time it's happened in a long time, and I don't know what it is.
All right, I'm not touching it.
It just comes back. Maybe it's because I think it might be the cable.
Maybe the cable. I wonder if
because we lifted the desk up. We lifted the desk up a little bit, right?
Oh. Okay. Put it back down.
I don't know if that's going to change anything.
I wonder if actually the second video input at a hardware level is making it a little wonky too. Because
that is entirely possible.
That seems like the real change we've done today.
But this is just USB, right? Like this is USB. It's not.
But it's another video screen, so like Windows has to see this display.
Oh, okay. So you're saying at the operating system.
I'm thinking that like the second display is maybe making it like.
We technically have 3 displays because the webcam is going as well. Did I disrupt the balance? There's just more and more.
You might have, yeah. Maybe there's too many people on the webcam. They just can't handle it.
Man. All right. Yeah. So it took us forever, and it's still kind of wonky, right? I think we're correct that there's something with our perspective rendering, which is really weird. You can kind of see
these trees on the bottom of the screen are
even these walls right here. Yeah. These walls right here, right?
It's some fisheye shit. If I was having a Hunter S. Thompson like acid trip in the desert moment, the trees would and the walls would stretch out in the wrong direction like that. But like not for a dog or a
I don't
tank
know
game.
why. I've gone over the math a couple times. I was never able to figure out what was up with that. Suffice to say, we don't have to solve it now. It would be nice to eventually figure this out.
I think the math is probably right. I feel like this is actually like a focal distance thing.
Like we have to mess with the focal length.
Like this
or,
yeah,
the,
to me,
or the aspect ratio.
if
Not the
I-
aspect ratio.
it's not like I don't know if it's the FOV, but it is.
Yeah, field of view. Yeah.
I don't know what our concept of focal distance is, but to me this feels like a 10 millimeter lens with the fisheyes versus like wanting to zoom in at a 200, where you'd actually you have like
photography degree coming into play.
well, yeah,
here.
like the only thing I understand about this part of it is how different lens lengths affect the way lines converge.
Yes.
And to me, we're in the your lens is doing a funky thing to your game.
Yeah,
situation.
Because games do not look like this. You know, I was trying to do like a vanity little video for the tweet for this session, and I was getting these like really weird arcs on the mortar, right? Which we've basically been dealing with for like since we added the mortar to the degree that we thought our physics were wrong.
Yep.
But it's just the rendering that's weird. At any rate, we don't have to worry about any of this stuff anymore. Because we get Unity, it can kind of do really, really great rendering for us out of the box. We're really actually going to be limited on the art side of things, on the asset creation side of things.
Yeah, we're talking artists someday.
And that's, I think, the main thing that we gain. The secondary thing that we gain is potentially, and I say potentially because I'm not 100% sure, because we're going to be writing mostly in C# as opposed to JavaScript. There is an option to kind of break out into kind of like even lower levels in C#. You can do C++. I think that's kind of their main extension language.
Yep.
I think some crazy person even made like Rust bindings for the Unity libraries.
Wild. Huh.
But your main game is not written in a low-level language.
Right.
So you have to kind of be in this sort of plug-in mindset in Unity when you're dipping to the low level. But where I was going with that is that C#, but especially C++ or Rust or whatever low-level language, has the potential to make the game faster. And I never thought we would have to worry about performance at all when we first started this project.
Little did we know.
Yeah. But then we decided to make it multiplayer, and it turns out that the way to make multiplayer relatively easier is that you basically just are able to replay different realities. It's kind of like every cheesy time travel plot line in a bottle episode on a sci-fi show or something like that, right? Like, you know, you have these forking realities, which is actually really what happens in games, because you basically have to like tell the player locally what's going on like very quickly after they've input something. But that input is going to take a while to get to the rest of the players in the game, right?
And we've commented that we've added some delays, but we still have this like maybe quarter of a second turnaround time on that, 15 frames from me pressing a mouse to it getting fully reflected in the server and back to you.
Yeah, it's about 12 to 15 frames if we're going over the internet through TCP, right, which is a reliable channel, and it's slower because it's reliable. So the hope is that when we go to Unity, the fact that we have to sort of simulate all these different realities, because, you know, like, it may be the case that, like, you know, I went one way, but then, like, 15 frames later, I learned that DOM actually got my way, and so I had to actually sort of adjust what the game is showing you due to that. You have to resimulate all of that. Like, so every frame we're like replaying the entire game logic several times. And that was the big performance bottleneck for us.
Yeah, that was huge.
Yeah.
And we did some optimizations, but a lot of it came down to JavaScript's ability for us to like take a chunk of memory and put it aside, which
and that actually kind of comes into sort of like programming style, right? Because you know, I think we can even look at, if we get to actually doing some programming, we were going to work on our Pathfinder still, and the programming style of our Pathfinder was that we were breaking up a lot of our functions into like a bunch of individual parameters, and
that's old.
The did you update this already?
I was going to say that no longer looks like that.
Okay. And the call site is up here, and I'm kind of over time, I've started to move over to a programming style where I really like keyword arguments, where you're essentially naming what parameter you're sending with each argument.
Absolutely,
right? And the way that you simulate that in JavaScript is you create an object. Your parameter is an object that has a bunch of properties in it, and so at the call site, you have to enumerate all of those parameters. And it's more typing, actually. I think that's kind of like a weird thing at this stage in my career as a programmer, is that like I don't really care about typing more as much as being clear.
Someone once was like, "Are you trying to save bandwidth?" And I was like, "No, because it doesn't matter. It gets compiled down to the same exact thing."
Yeah.
And from then on, my variable names became quite long.
Yeah, but the problem with that in JavaScript is that when you every time you add curly braces to anything, you make a little object with curly braces, you are now making an allocation onto the heap, and that has to be garbage collected. And I would prefer not to have to do that all the time.
It's amazing how good JavaScript has been to us, and just how awful some of its core concepts are for this.
Yeah. Now, what's funny is that I don't know if C# gets us out of that, right?
It is garbage collected in a Unity world, isn't it? I think so.
Well, it's garbage collected, which is fine. It's not the principle of garbage collection itself. It's really that, can I make a data structure that allows me to express a bundle of properties as all being associated with each other?
Yep.
Without having to pay the overhead. Like, basically, I just want to be able to like have this in a box and refer to those things in that box without having to say that like that box is on the heap.
Yep.
I want that box to be on the stack, right? And that's a natural thing in C, right? In C, you just like declare a struct, it's stack allocated. All it really is actually just these separate variables lined up, but they just happen to be next to each other in memory. And I wish that there was a way to do that in JavaScript. Go, you can certainly do that. I'm not as sure about C#. I think C# has a notion of a struct, right? Have you done C# at all?
Not really. Only for like playing with Unity a little bit. And actually, I use their JavaScript framework anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, structs. I've used them in Swift, and I assume that they took a fairly similar interpretation.
It's the same. It's a value type. So if you say A equals B, you're not assigning a reference. A is not a reference to B. You're literally just like copying the values over.
Yeah, it's great.
And so this is basically exactly what we want. So immediately we already have a programming advantage being able to use things like this. I guess, yeah.
I think it will be better suited for what we're doing, and plus our ability to not use TCP/IP will be
that's
really
another
as
one.
well.
So what Don was referring to is, we were talking about a reliable channel before, and you actually do want that a lot in games, but there are times when it doesn't matter as much. Some of that is like, when we're in our multiplayer implementation, a lot of things are basically being speculatively simulated. Really, the simulation that we think is like the real one is the one that's happening on the server. But the clients are all aware of things happening, maybe ahead of the server, right? And so the clients are going to speculatively simulate those things. It's like I punch in some input locally, I can simulate it right away as I'm sending it to the server, and the server might not get it by the time that I'm actually rendering the results of that. Similarly, I can actually send my input over to Dom, right? And he can speculatively simulate that. And maybe Dom lives closer to me physically, and so he'll actually see it before maybe the server does.
Oh, that's interesting. Right, because our networking is like everyone calls in the server, and the server broadcasts out. But we haven't done any peer-to-peer.
There's no peer-to-peer networking. Now,
and I think that is just totally impossible in the browser. Basically, like
you basically can't. Yeah. I mean, if we were doing TCP/IP, we can kind of do peer-to-peer TCP, right? Like there's lots of peer-to-peer TCP protocols, but we all sit behind routers now, right? Like you can't actually directly connect to someone's computer unless they were to go into the router and like mess with the DMZ settings and that sort of thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the peer-to-peer problem of like getting around the router is actually going to be the same in the UDP world.
Oh shit! But don't most routers have like UDP mode, or they like? I feel like they've punched the right holes for this for games specifically.
The problem is is the same in UDP and any kind of IP basis. Right? IP is like the lower layer, and then TCP and UDP are kind of siblings above that.
Gotcha.
It's the IP layer is the problem when you talk about like routers getting in the way. Like, how do I address your computer? Because you have an IP address that's actually your computer plus your partner's computer plus your phone plus everything else, your PS5.
Gotta get into that subnet mask.
Yes, exactly. But what UDP does allow us to do is to send stuff unreliably. I'm sending my input over to Dom speculatively. He can take it and he can render it. He'll eventually get a message from the server saying this is actually what the world looks like, and it may deviate slightly from what he's already simulated. But we're basically making the bet with this structure of implementation that like it's not going to deviate that much, and that the performance benefits, or at least the perceived benefits from on the part of the player, are going to vastly outweigh any kind of like jitter that you're going to get from that.
Yep.
So if I'm sending that stuff, and I know that it doesn't have to be perfect, Dom doesn't necessarily have to get 100% of it because the server is backing me up, wouldn't it be nice for me to send all that stuff to Dom, like, immediately, as quickly as possible? And that's what UDP would give us.
Yeah. No, I think it would... It is all, like, simulation... It's all simulated performance, but it would make it feel a lot better the way we play today.
Yeah. I mean, interestingly, the other piece of technology that everybody uses that uses UDP is actually what we normally use, which is Zoom, right? Any kind of video chat. It's the same kind of thing where I actually really care about latency. I really care that like how quickly my video gets to you and how quickly your video gets to me is more important than it being 100% perfect all the time. Like if it's gappy, if I've missed some things, you know, the local clients can kind of patch over that or smooth over that somehow. And they're probably designed that way. So, I mean, I think, like, if you're using Zoom does Zoom have a browser client still?
You know, I haven't seen it in a while.
Like Google Hangouts does, right? Like, all of these things have browser clients. That's what WebRTC is.
I was saying FaceTime does now. It should be very interesting to see a third version of that.
Yeah. And I wonder if FaceTime just uses WebRTC. They must, right? They're not doing browser extensions, right?
No, I bet they picked whatever the most modern thing you can get in a browser is, and then ran with it, which is just that.
Yeah. Now, WebRTC has all these facilities for doing what's called NAT hole punching, which is basically how do I get to Dom's computer specifically, as opposed to his partner's computer when I'm sending stuff to him.
But it's also like we looked at the API for this for the game, and it's
insanely complicated.
It's like the worst web API I've ever seen in terms of, and like the documentation looked really wrong. The whole thing was like a nightmare to use. Yeah,
and on top of that, it's just fundamentally hard, right? Because essentially what you have to do is like the way that you can get around having, like people having like Wi-Fi routers sitting in between each other, is that you have this third computer in the middle that everybody reports into and says like, here's actually the port that you should talk to, which is my port on my router. That's going to send traffic to me, right?
That's so interesting.
That's like basically the rough idea. I'm kind of very much glossing over a lot of the details, but that's roughly what's going to happen. Anyways, that's a long tangent down networking, but the fact that the basic idea is that we'll have this potentially available to us if we were to move over to Unity as opposed to being in the browser.
Yeah, and I think our all the rollback logic we put together actually translates pretty well. Like I think we bring the pattern over wholesale. Like,
yeah, that's an interesting point.
Unity doesn't really provide networking. They've promised it someday. They're like, we're going to have a great multiplayer implementation, but like I don't see it. So,
and there are some things that, you know, if we wanted to just like have control over the way that we structure the game, Unity actually maybe doesn't give us a whole lot about that. Like it'll give us a rendering pipeline. It'll give us a physics engine. It'll give us a nice like editor to lay out assets.
And it has nice concepts. Like it'll have like primitives for us. Like we'll define like what a tree is.
Yeah.
And it'll let us like create like variations on that from the tree primitive, which is really cool.
Right.
And bullets and all these other things. And I think it's like the scene. It puts together some really low-level game concepts, but like nothing that's gonna like shoehorn us into a particular design direction.
Yeah, and in particular, if we wanted to continue doing networking the way that we're doing it, where we're rolling back the world and replaying different realities, that's really that's a very, very deep structural assumption about the way to make a game, Unity's not going to make that for you.
Right.
And so you still have to be able to deal with all the consequences for that.
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, like we were talking about pathfinding before, Unity probably has a pathfinding implementation, but it might not be as fast as the one that we're about to write, right? It might not understand that you are on a grid and can therefore take advantages that the grid gives you. Right?
Yeah, and I'm wondering too what the community aspects will be like if there is if we can pull some plugins together for basic functionality as prototypes before we decide to go, like, you know, if we could have pulled in like L1 Pathfinder like we did and gotten like straight lines on, like, no, I mean, it's, you know, the game works, but like that's not good enough. So I expect actually a lot of that's okay but not good enough from the open source stuff we're going to use.
Yeah, so I think the broad summary is that we get a lot by going to Unity, but we also trade off a lot, right? We talked before about like our ability right now to just like make a change in the game and just see the change immediately. And it doesn't matter how big the change is. Like the recompile time for the web-based version of Manchester is about as fast as we just saw. Like it doesn't matter. You could change the entire game. And you could flip everything upside down, and it would be exactly the same amount of time to reload it.
It's quite fast.
Yeah.
And it's definitely the fastest. Doing the speedest build is like the fastest build process I've ever experienced on a regular basis.
Yeah. Whereas, like, I think everybody I know in the professional world who works with Unity and games, like, everybody just complains about it. Now, I don't have any experience with it. What was your experience, like, working with Unity?
I think I only ever did toy projects. So I think you can probably work on, like, small slices at a time that are easy to build in the moment. But I expect if you're, like, trying to load into an entire game stack to see everything interacting together, it can very easily get bogged down. So.
Right.
I'm sure that'll be experience. I actually expect to like fully develop this on our PCs because I think they'll be better at what we want to do for this.
I wonder how optimized Unity is on the Mac.
Yeah, and I think my PC is still going to be better at all of this than my MacBook Air right now. We'll see.
I'm going to try to stick with the Mac as long as possible. I think I'm just saying that privately because I've tried to, like, I'm so ingrained in my habits that, I basically narrated my entire, like, trying to find a keyboard saga to you, over the course of the last
It's so
summer.
funny. I ended up with just an Apple one at the end of the day.
Yeah. I just ended up, I went to the Apple Store and just bought a new Magic Keyboard.
I mean, it's nice.
Yeah.
I wish it had that thumbprint scanner, though. Damn.
Oh. You know, I'm used to not having, I'm used to having my laptop closed up, so I don't really,
No, but like when it's open and I can just like skip my password, I'm like, oh, this is the best feature ever, and it's closed under my lid all the damn time.
Yeah.
And who needs an eject key? When was the last time you ejected a disk?
Well, I do the Command Shift Eject to sleep the computer.
Oh yeah.
Or I can just turn my monitor on. Maybe that's faster.
I do it with Alfred.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I just tell Alfred to sleep.
Yeah.
Now, Unity's going to be good to us, though. I think it's going to open up new possibilities, and I'm hopeful that, like, the development we do will be... I think we'll be able to do more game-focused stuff, and, like... I think my original pitch to you is, like, all the brainpower we're putting in should go into, like, the weird game system we want to make.
Yeah.
That needs the math and the finesse and the perfection that, like we should use someone else's renderer.
So, Dom's going on a trip for the next couple of streams, and then when we get back, we'll just be working with Unity. Mm-hmm. I don't even know how much time I have to prepare for that, because I've got this other side project that I'm working on.
I think we might go into... I think next stream might be us opening up Unity and just being like, let's put a dog in here.
Session 101, Unity 101, yeah.
See, perfect. Yeah, we're gonna put the dog in and some trees, and then we're gonna make it move around. I think, like, Unity twin stick shooter should be like a pretty... I feel like we'll recreate this very quickly.
Okay, yeah. So maybe the structuring goal is that we're not moving away from Manchester per se.
No.
I think there's a lot to still do in that realm, and I'm still interested in that as a game that I want to make. But I think we'll be kind of like figuring out how to recreate it, I guess.
Which we already kind of did with the 2D to 3D conversion. Like we've
how many times have we written this game?
A lot. It's great. It's every time we write it.
Multiplayer was also
multiplayer. Yeah, and it gets better every time. I remain like. If this is rewrite number 4, it's only going to be better this time around, too.
Yeah. We're going to have to figure out how to do wireframe rendering in Unity. It might just come out of the bat.
I think with the geometry shader, I think it's nothing. I think we don't have to worry about it. Yeah. And we can do thicker lines. I think we'll be happy.
Yeah.
we'll have plenty of different frustrations because it's someone else's tool we got to work with, but not JavaScript.
Okay. Well, why don't we spend the next hour and 20 minutes just enjoying the last vestiges of TypeScript then? Because
Let's write some JavaScript.
Yeah.
Bring it. Yeah, the Unity JavaScript thing, no types. So C# is going to be the way to go, huh?
Yeah, C#'s type system is good. It's not... The big thing that I love about TypeScript is the tag union. I don't know if it's where we can...
That is like one of the cleverest things I've seen in TypeScript, and it works
really well. It's not fast, but you don't need that kind of speed. This thing right here.
It's not... Do you mean it's like slow... Do you think it slows down the compilation, or it's just a pain in the ass to write sometimes?
It's just...
It's a pain in the ass to write. It's a lot of boilerplate sometimes.
Apparently JavaScript is such that it's way better if a variable always has the same structure, because it can JIT that. And with a tag union, it doesn't, right?
Huh.
That's the reason why it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
But it's not a big deal. I don't think this is the reason why
That's never been our performance problem.
No.
Nah.
But the ability to basically say my return value of a function is an unlit object, or my parameter is an unlit object, but it actually can have two different structures, right? Now, the way that you would have done this in the past is you would have just combined these two, right? You just smash all those properties together, but it feels like a waste because you know that when the type is unlit object lines, you don't care about model modifiers. It's nonsensical to have that property defined, and it's really, really nice to be able to express that as two different types, right?
No, I mean this worked so well, and the way you just switch them into either one to get the types to work correctly was it was just elegant and simple.
Yeah,
and I wish every language had this feature.
Maybe in principle there's some kind of type switch in C# that's a lot like Go's type switch or something like that'll make this possible. In C# and C+.
I see type switching. Ooh.
C# switch on type. There's dynamic dispatch. This is not a real answer. Come on.
Nope.
Oh, they do have a pattern matching.
Oh, great! Pattern matching is the
it's
the name for this, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's the name for how you consume a tag union, right? How you actually use it.
No, C# has it, but does Unity C# have it?
I think Unity C# is just C#.
Just okay. It's just their standard.
All it needs it just needs to this is all semantic, sure. It all just needs to compile down into .NET bytecode, and then I think .NET is what C# consumes, or rather what Unity consumes, because Unity just has the mono runtime and everything.
I will say I'm very stoked to put a game on console too, which JavaScript.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
I know it's possible with JavaScript thanks to crossplay, but
maybe one of our legit milestones should be how quickly can we get to a Nintendo Switch dev kit?
Is that the cheapest one?
It's $500.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Although it's probably Switch Pro now. I don't know.
Did that get announced today? Shit.
Did it?
I don't know. It's E3, so I don't know who's doing what.
First Switch Pro. But the thing with Switch Pro right now is the reason why they're rumors is they're showing a bunch of Switch games in 4K.
Is that what's happening? Oh, okay. And when's the second Zelda coming out? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Never.
It's not the real second Zelda unless you can play as Zelda.
Is that what Legend of Zelda 2 was? Could you play Zelda?
Oh no, you've never been able to play Zelda, and that's been a huge problem in the Zelda series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Smash Brothers is the only one you get to, which is really funny.
Yeah.
Okay, but this will be good.
Yeah. So look, C# basically has this kind of can I check to see something that something is a type, and then inside the block in the context where basically the compiler can prove that that variable is a particular type. You get static analysis around that variable as if it was that type. And that's the real secret sauce of everything, is you want the compiler to protect you from looking at the wrong thing or trying to access the wrong property or something like that.
Well, and C# and TypeScript are both Microsoft at this point, right? Basically.
Yeah.
So I love their conversion, their language features, or shipping things that implement the same things for the language servers. So.
Yeah, I think they're really good at making tools for practical programmers, and it's not very theoretical. It's very kind of unsexy stuff,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Yeah. Microsoft makes great developer tools,
Yeah.
and it's a horrible OS that we have to deal with. But yeah, no, getting on a Switch would be amazing. I'd love to ship a PlayStation game.
Yeah.
I kind of don't give a shit about an Xbox, but like only because neither of us has one. Your computer kind of looks like an Xbox, though.
This one, it does look like a Xbox
Like a sideways,
Series
yeah.
X.
Yeah.
Yeah. It might be slower at this point.
Than an Xbox. Oh gosh.
Well,
The new ones are fast.
this one was like $1,200 to $1,300.
Oh,
to
okay.
build.
Oh, you did good on that.
Yeah, it's funny because like normally I would like know every single component down to like the model variant letter or something like that. But I literally don't remember what CPU this has.
See,
It's a Ryzen 5 series, I want to say.
That sounds freeing.
And then I have an RTX 2070.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Same. I paid a little more for a bigger case, and I didn't pick any parts, but it's not.
But your monitor doesn't flicker, I'm sure, when you plug it in.
You know, my monitor does not flicker
Does it come on immediately
for the PC. Yeah.
when you turn the computer on?
Yeah.
Because I have to wait till Windows is booted and then I plug my USB cable in. I think it's because I'm using Thunderbolt and it just like doesn't quite work.
Oh yeah, mine's HDMI, which probably is part of it.
And I think HDMI, if I had it plugged in, it would just turn on immediately.
Yep. Thunderbolt turns out only works good on Macs and then only sometimes. Does that mean you could plug that into a Thunderbolt display? It couldn't because Apple locked you out. I think you couldn't use one of the Apple ones.
I don't know. I mean, this is a USB-C cable going in, right?
No, I'm just shitting on Apple. I think they still made a thing where your Thunderbolt computer cannot use their Thunderbolt display because it's not a Mac,
Yeah.
and it's horrible. I've got too many Thunderbolt displays. That's all.
But it's now coming back to me how many like random considerations came into like the setup that I currently have right now.
I
Because
know, right?
I'm like suffering through this like shitty monitor kind of. I actually don't even know what the reason why it's doing that. But even if that wasn't there, let's say I was using a DVI cable into my computer because I want to see the power on self-test or something like that, because that's before Windows boots.
Yep.
I need a DVI cable, but they don't sell DVI cables at lengths longer than like 3 feet, because if it's any longer than that, you need a repeater or something like that. Because like
What's going on?
the
Okay.
DVI signal is, I guess, very, very high energy, and like I guess it can get very lossy on the cables. And sometimes I want to stand up on my desk. You know, I spent all this money on this fancy desk. I mean, it wasn't that expensive. It was like $300 or $400. But like, you know, I was gonna work from home and I needed to like.
I have one of these desks, and I made a critical mistake.
What's that?
I did not get the longer legs. You've got like the extra leg segment on yours.
Oh, I didn't even know I did that.
Yeah, I mean, I think you did. I didn't, but it means it doesn't go low enough for me. Like,
I did get the one that goes extra low.
no, exactly. They were
Yeah.
like, do you want extra height? And I'm like, no, I'm not that tall. But then I didn't realize that it also cut off like 4 inches below where it should for like ergonomics. So now I just have this desk that like is never comfortable.
I mean, what is it? In reality, when you type, you're supposed to be like elbows down, right? Like your wrists are supposed to be lower than your elbows.
Yeah.
And that's almost never the case, right? Usually we're typing like this all the time.
Do you do that all day? No, I try to. This is just
So you try to raise your shoulders then?
I mean, your desk is just a better posture than mine because it's like mine stops here. It really annoys me.
Why are desks so tall? I mean, you're not a short person, right? So it's like
I'm like a normal. I think
you're like a normal sized
I'm
person.
an average human
Yeah.
adult.
So I got this lower desk because I'm a little bit smaller than the average human adult, and I think my comfortable height on this desk is like the lowest it'll go,
Yep.
and then up a notch.
Yep.
From that.
Weirdly, it's the same for me. So I think
Okay.
you. Yeah, I'm just jealous of your desk legs. So.
Okay. All right.
Pandemic life.
Let's do our last bit of JavaScript programming on the
Yeah.
Manchester project.
I mean, let's-
before it becomes. Yeah, we'll have to come up with a different name because the Git repo is called Manchester, and we need a different name.
What about Manchester United?
No. Oh God. it really makes sense.
Yep.
I think we have to avoid that.
Okay.
What are other like notorious?
Sounds really good.
What are notorious hellholes of the industrial era?
Oh. Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. No, Pittsburgh.
Yeah. My favorite hometown.
Was it your favorite hometown?
One of them. Pittsburgh was just
Formative years.
Pittsburgh was just a good ass
Pittsburgh.
city. Yeah. Yeah.
I think of Pittsburgh. I think of Chicago. I think of Chicago as well. Detroit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Detroit. Detroit is really the hellscape.
Yeah. Anything in continental Europe. I kind of don't have that association, although I'm sure continental Europe really sucked during the Industrial Revolution.
I feel like we could look up industrial cities in London and find just a bunch.
In the UK, you mean?
Yeah.
Birmingham is the other one.
Like Liverpool, maybe. I feel like we kind of factoried all those towns for a minute and made them smoggy, miserable places.
Yeah, but we also chose Manchester because it had a really cool music scene in the 80s and the 70s as well.
Yeah, we can go Arsenal to keep the football club going.
I think I want to avoid the. God bless all the football fans out there. I want to avoid the Football Association if possible.
Yeah, that's fair.
Could be the American Football Association, though.
I mean, I'm a fan.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so I think the Pathfinder actually,
Let's do the Pathfinder.
It was looking pretty good with the last stuff we put in there, so I wonder... So that one sure looks bad.
Yeah, it looks bad.
Oh, I'm trying to recall, did we figure out that there was a chunk of the algorithm that wasn't implemented yet? Did we do all the recursion? I think we actually did. I think we
Gosh, I don't remember.
I think we sussed it out. I think we kept walking through it and it kept being right. So
I've done a lot of programming since I've last touched this.
Yeah. Same. I did a whole different app. Well, I mean, one thing we could do is just swap this in for a 1 and see what happens.
I want to see if this works. I always want to do this. Oh god, that hotkey's going to save my life. Command Option T, close the other things.
Oh shit, that's great.
I noticed you doing something cool the other day, which is that you would separate this into 2 tabs.
Oh yeah, but I would just drag it. So take JPS test and just drag the tab to.
Is it not Command Option Number?
It should be. I think Command Number does it by default unless you change your tab switching. Yep. And then you can drag to that.
Okay. But there's also a pop to that tab?
If you just drag the tab title to the left or to the right half of the thing, yeah, you can do top or bottom or left right. No, but it's gotta be in the region you want to go to. So that's top, that's full. Keep going to the right. Yeah, there you go.
Wow. Okay.
It's like little notches.
Yeah, the way that our tests work is that you have to have the open tab is what it runs the tests on.
Yep.
But if you accidentally have the implementation open, it'll just say where are your tests. But having these 2 things open at the same time allows you to move back and forth without having to
No, I like it. It works well. So there was another test in here that everything just works now for the JPS stuff.
Do I need to pull?
I think you probably need to pull, but yeah. What? Okay, you just kind of. It was clock.
No, it was number of players.
That too. So let's see. So now, and if you look at Get Neighbors now too, you should see that it's
actually.
There you go.
I wish it would have.
I love that it didn't do that.
Yeah.
And then it collapsed the tabs. Anyway, this now takes a object for most of the parameters because there were just so many that it turned out were necessary.
Yeah.
Like knowing the direction was really critical for whatever point you're looking at, so we brought that in here.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. Just to remind myself, I found myself just trying to remember exactly how this algorithm worked last time we talked about it, and I have to do that literally again right now.
Oh wait, can we look at I left some notes in there for what we were doing above this. It isn't this file, it's just a comment higher up on the screen. Nope.
This one here. To do.
The distance we need to do for path length walked, diagonal gaps is what we don't have. So we should be able to test that by breaking it.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
What happens if you push the same node twice into the open list? If directions allow it, if not...
We think that can't actually happen. We think you can not push the same node in the same direction twice, based on the algorithm. But you can push different directions.
Yeah, you can push different directions, because think of the exactly symmetric map. Right?
And we saw that in the web example, where actually it had a cross node in it. That's fine. I think maybe once you got there, maybe... We might want to check that if it's already in the open list or the set of nodes that we're looking at, we can sort of say hey, we got here,
Right.
You can skip pushing that and searching again, because searching again might be weird.
Okay, so we've got a priority queue here. The prioritization is just the difference between the distances. That's exactly what we want. Distance function is different, though.
Well, and championship might be okay if we add the path walk distance as well, but also we could just switch to Euclidean distance.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when we push onto the open list, there's nothing that is duplicating it. When we have the priority queue, we push a value, and this doesn't attempt to do any deduplication.
Nope.
Which is interesting, because we're like, did we not try to solve that problem before? Did we just have a bug in the priority queue? Is there a reprioritize function here?
Good question.
Doesn't look like it.
Huh.
Because if you look at the Dijkstra's algorithm,
the old Pathfinder might have handled this by checking the set of nodes that we already checked and just not repushing. I wonder.
Dijkstra, this is popping off of the priority queue. Yeah, this is the reprioritization. Saying if the distance of a particular node, this is the distance previously of that node, but if the one that you just generated, because you're at the neighbor to that node, and you now have a path to that node from this neighbor, if the path leading to that node is now shorter than what you previously knew, update it. Right. So this theoretically should reorient the priority queue, because when you pull off the priority queue, you always want to get the one with the minimum distance, right? So I think it's okay if we don't implement that. I think it's actually kind of hard to implement that, but that's a known issue with our algorithm.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. All right.
Right, and then we found the places where I was using the wrong node as we were searching. So actually everything started to come together.
Yep.
After that.
When we start, we just push the initial node on there. We pop it off. If there's nothing in the list, right? Is this ever going to happen?
What's that?
This case is impossible because of the while condition, right?
Yeah, that's funny.
If we're at the destination, then we're finished. Although we need to demarcate it that, like, this is the right path, right? And how do we actually know what the path is?
Well, we can search back because every node knows what its previous one is.
Oh, got it. So
And
we
I
basically need to know what the last node is, right?
Yeah, and I think at the end of this while loop, this is hard on one screen. I'm not used to pair programming like this anymore. I thought we added. Oh, I see. On line 101, yeah, we actually, when we're building the path, we look for the destination node in our set, and we say we find the destination and pull backwards from there, and that's the path.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So
path nodes. This object here is basically our result. It is like we accumulate results in there.
Yeah, it's like the totality of what is searched in terms of like jump points. It'll have more than the total path in it, because there are jump points that aren't on the path based on how we do the search.
Does this need to also keep track of the direction that we enter the nodes?
It does, because the search point keeps track of that.
But the key here is not keyed by the direction.
Nope. No, it's grid position only. Like the key is grid position, which is unique per node. Though actually, if we're pushing the same one twice, that ain't true no more, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
Yeah. I mean, so that's really interesting to me because I feel like if you end up at the same node, you're in a circle. So either you replace with the one that has the shorter distance, is probably the correct thing to do.
It's true for A star and Dijkstra, what you just said.
Yeah.
But the notion of a node in jump point search is not only the position of the node, but how you got there as well.
No, right. But so for any grid position, if we got to the same node and we had a shorter distance, I would replace it with the search point struct that has the new direction for it and the new previous.
I don't think you can do that because the options that you had because you went into that node from a particular direction are not infinite.
Yeah.
Like,
that's a good point.
You're allowed, like, in Dijkstra and A star, let's just say Dijkstra, because A star is just the same thing. In Dijkstra, when you're at a node, you're allowed to follow any other edge out of that node to continue. Whereas in jump point search, the whole point of jump point search is that your options for going forward are limited based on the way that you went into it.
Yep.
So imagine that symmetric map that we were talking about before, but imagine that beyond that junction point, the map is no longer symmetric.
Yep.
Like, how would you know which of those two was the better one, right?
Yeah. Yep, that's a really, really good question. Huh. I guess yeah. Maybe the first way to approach this is just if we are about to insert the same node, just skip it. Like, just say that the first time we got to it was optimal because this is supposed to produce optimal paths.
I think we can use your thing. We just need to add the direction of the node.
And that's still a lot harder for pulling one out randomly, but maybe the last node gets inserted without direction.
Are you talking about this one here?
Yeah, I mean, or we just track it differently, but...
Well, what we can do is here... Well, we know that we've gotten to the right one here, so we can just assign it, right? We can just say...
Yep, that's what we had before, yeah.
Let dest is a search point.
Search point.
Right? Or let... Or dest search point, maybe? That's...
Yep.
Current.
Just not used.
It's not used, okay. And then what we do is we search backwards from this one, right?
So next node is dest search point there. And then, I know I'm 104, yeah, and then you're good to go.
Okay, and then
it just steps backwards through that, yeah.
And then unshift. Oh, I see. Unshift is basically putting things on the front.
Yeah, it's you can't reverse it because you would swap x, y in your coordinate list.
The other way, you would push y and then x and then reverse it at the end, but that would be...
I almost did that, but then I was like, I'm going to hate me for that, Jeff's going to hate me for that. We'll be like, oh yeah, we just called reverse, it's, so clear this way, and then we would have been so confused. Or
another reason why having everything in a memory layout, language where you have control of the memory layout would have been fine here because we could have put a tuple of x and y and reverse the list of tuples. It would have known what to do very naturally.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I would do the tuple too, but...
No. I mean, but then you would have been allocating.
Then I would have been allocating. Yeah, I was like, I'm not going to allocate something, as per usual. Yeah. Though, actually, unshift is probably maybe the least optimal thing I could do because I'm changing array length from the front, which I think is, in fact, a terrible operation to do in JavaScript. Like, I think it dumps the whole array and reallocates.
I think that's right. It basically reallocates a new array.
Yeah,
and
there's no way to unshift an array cleanly. So,
Yeah, I mean, there's a data structure in Rust that you use all the time called double-ended queue, and I'm sure there's the same thing in Java. But if you actually look at the implementation, it's really complicated because in order to avoid the exact problem that you're talking about, they actually segment the queue into like multiple chunks.
And each chunk points to its next or previous chunk.
Basically. Yeah, exactly. So it's like a linked list of arrays.
Oh, basically. That's clever. Yeah. I feel like that's how content hashing on devices works, where I see actual media files chunked up just by random SHA, but it's probably so they can seek easily without having to buffer.
Or I wonder if it's two vectors. One in the front, which is actually a reverse vector, so that you're always pushing onto the end of arrays. That's efficient, right? But then it iterates over the first one backwards. Something like that.
Anyway,
yeah,
I realized that there was no optimal.
Don't worry about it. I wasn't picking on that code whatsoever.
I like that you went through the same thought process I did, though.
Okay. So the distance, whenever we call Chebyshev, this is basically where we want to maybe update that.
Yep. Yeah, let's change it to just distance.
So that's the implementation. This is inside our main loop. This is also inside of our main function. And this one is inside find jump. Is dx dy here the destination?
Destination.
Okay, that's
yeah,
perfect. So we know how to actually calculate this.
Exactly. Yeah, that's been our convention for this so far.
And then, do we know how to get to the previous?
Yeah, it's point. Because when you're building next point with distance, point, you can grab the distance off a point.
Oh, yes, of course.
Though you'll have to take, I guess you take point distance and subtract its distance from the destination to get the path walk distance. Like, you'd have to take point, the previous point, figure out how far it is from the destination, and chop it off.
What do we use distance for?
Just sorting.
Just sorting. Okay. So let's do it once and then try to, like...
Yeah.
So,
yeah, totally.
The initial time that we use Chebyshev is going to be up here in JPS, right? This is the very first time. The distance is 0, right?
Yeah.
Or it's actually the Euclidean distance between it.
Exactly,
those
yeah.
two.
It is the full, yeah.
And we want to do square root because the path distance up to that point is going to include square roots as well. Okay.
Yeah, I forgot the logic behind Chebyshev here, but like, I think was it that actually doing the Euclidean distance for triangle would not be totally accurate because we're not walking that large diagonal path for this. I think this is supposed to account for like actual walk distance, which is like only chess moves.
Yeah, I think the way that would be really accurate is if it's only chess moves and also diagonals as well, because you can go diagonal in this. I know.
I thought we may have implemented it wrong. I think the Chebyshev distance was supposed to be chess move distance, including diagonals. Like it's like optimal chessboard distance.
Oh, so it includes bishops.
It's supposed to. My implementation might not.
I think this one was just choosing the greater of the x or y displacement, which I think discounts. At least if you're going diagonally, it'd be bigger than the largest.
Yeah, I guess I'm wondering if it counts that as 1 or not, which it might be in this case, which is not necessarily correct. It's like 1 path unit instead of 1 screen unit. I think is how it's weighing that. But like, yeah, we should just do it. Let's change it up.
Yeah. This is our old friend, the Pythagorean theorem.
Yeah, that's nice. It's so aggressive.
I've been having a little bit of pop-up fatigue in VS Code. There's sometimes where it just like pops up one of these things, but it just says the word any. And I'm trying to click on the text behind this pop-up, but because the pop-up is in the way.
Oh, that's funny.
Alright. Now let's just do the whole word. I just got done talking about how I'm not trying to save typing in my life anymore. JPS, Euclidean distance. And this is theoretically 0 plus, like implicitly, right?
Sure. Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
And
so
this distance here.
Now why do we need to do that? Doesn't find jump also calculate distance? Where's the other use of Chebyshev? Because
it's inside find jump. Should we do that one first?
Let's do that one first, because no, it's not inside find. Oh, wait, there it is. Because we return.
It should be point dot distance plus
Euclidean next x next y. Yeah, but I think you need to subtract Euclidean of point dot x point dot y, because that's.
You're right.
Yeah.
What if we had a path length?
Sure.
And
Like we
essentially just like a sort distance. Does that maybe that will be a little bit clearer in terms of these search points?
I think having to do that negative feels pretty bad. Yeah.
And then let's just call this like sort distance, rank distance, priority, rank, heuristic distance.
Sure. I mean, I like sort distance. We'll know what it's for. Sort distance and path distance. Nice. Yeah. So for path length, we actually take the previous path length plus the Euclidean between next point and previous point as well, right? We need to
because the Euclidean is always going to be on the okay. So this is actually did I not do a?
I thought you did. Is it not rename?
I think it's just confused.
Maybe that was a splat of a different property. Nope.
This one should be a
it's not
search point.
Yeah. Yep.
And this one we're going to worry about right now.
Yeah, I want to see this one.
The sort distance.
Maybe calculating the new path distance, yeah. So point at path distance.
Path length.
Path length. Plus the Euclidean.
Between
point X, point Y.
X, point Y, and next X, next Y.
Yeah.
And boy, we kind of like if we knew that the direct we could optimize this and not do the square root in cases where it's like, but that's not super bothersome. What is it? Having a problem here?
Oh, because that could be undefined. I would just bang it there. Path length is optional, so the addition is what is blown up.
Path length should not be optional. Let's make it required. It's just path length. The sort distance is your path
length plus that, yeah.
Okay. Cool. Now you were confused as to why we were calling Chebyshev another time, right?
Yeah. Shouldn't jump point have distance on it? What world do we need to update the distance here? Like we just returned from a function that did this calculation.
It seems like
I think
we're doing is modifying the previous. How come we didn't set the previous in find jump? Is that because
it's current. Whatever is the current node of this is previous, but find jump could have recursed multiple times in any direction.
So that's a problem then, because I don't think we can do.
I mean that's why we calculate distance out there too. Yep. So this has to go on the outside. Yep. I mean that is okay if we're returning this.
You know how we were talking before about how there's a notion of
every part of this algorithm does this to us.
What it means is that I think search point needs to be two different types.
That's how I started, and it collapsed back to one. So I definitely feel you.
Okay, well, one question I have is find jump is recursive with itself, or because get neighbors needs it, right?
Huh.
And does get neighbors set?
No.
It doesn't set.
That's all the red you got right now. Because there's nothing distance relevant about this. So I think the reason it's in the outer loop in the first place is because that's where we actually care about sorting our actual set of nodes that are going into the map.
And what is point here?
That's our starting point for the node we're getting neighbors from.
And this is forced.
Hmm. Yeah, the type split here was incredibly. It's the exact same thing we talked about last time, where we're using the same data structures for like 3 purposes in this algorithm,
Right.
and it keeps punishing us.
Okay, let's... I think that this... You have an intuition here that this is one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's call that something.
Yep.
I'm going to call it point with dir.
Sure. Yeah, bring it on.
And this is like an entry direction, right?
Uh-huh.
Point with direction. It's the way that you're moving,
Mhm.
right? And that's this.
Mm-hmm.
And those are all numbers, right?
Yep.
And so what this is a point with dir.
Mm-hmm. Yep, everything in this signature is a point with dir. 303, 305.
But we also return the notion of it being a forced neighbor, right?
Oh, yep, should probably add that as an optional.
Do we care about this stuff when
it's a
we
forced neighbor?
return as a forced neighbor?
Hmm,
Like, is get neighbors actually 2 different functions?
that's a good question.
We call get neighbors here. Should have done find simple. Okay, we call get neighbors once in JPS,
Mm-hmm.
and in this one
So we do, well,
don't care about forced neighbors here, right?
right, but then find jump we do.
And in find jump we do, but I think in find jump we don't actually care about any of the actual
We don't look at them at all, yeah.
the other values, right?
Yep.
So neighbors, any of them is a forced neighbor.
I do see what you're putting down here. Yeah.
So we're really talking about 2 functions,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes, that is
So
like
what if we
has forced
call
neighbors,
one, export. And this is one of the things that we just defined, right?
Like point with dir.
And boy, maybe we should just bundle these up into a type, shouldn't we?
It's, yeah.
And this is just a Boolean, right?
Uh-huh. So I think we'll still need that first switch, which is, are we, Hmm?
This is gonna be a lot of repeat typing, but then we can try to draw it back in later.
I think if you just copy this entire thing, we don't need this. Immediate neighbors is the one time. Because really, you're about to pull all of that. Most of that kind of goes away.
Okay.
Hmm.
So this becomes has forced neighbors.
Diagonal, yeah. And returns a bool.
And this is a point with dir.
Mm-hmm. And res is false. Line 196 can just be, yeah.
I think we can just probably return, right?
Yep.
Like, no, we actually have to like return if we find one, right?
Yeah, but we can return early. I think return false at the end of the function will cover that for us.
So check unforced neighbors. None of this is going to matter, right?
Exactly. And this matters.
These are all just return trues.
It's all return true. Yeah. Return false. Boom.
Do you want to make this an and?
Oh yeah, do it.
I want to get rid of that other one.
Oh, it is not happy with our operator.
Sorry.
Double mod. Formatted it the same anyway. Nice. Yep.
This is nice and readable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice and clear. We need to get the cardinal version of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Has forced neighbors diagonal.
Oh, neighbors spelled right the first time.
Neighbors.
Good.
I like the idea of a neighbor.
A neighbor. 30 to 50 wild hogs. Whatever that old meme was.
What was that again?
It was someone who was really into gun rights, and they're like, I need a gun to protect my children from 30 to 50 wild hogs.
Oh, he was like very specific about like, yeah.
It was someone using the phrase 30 to 50 wild hogs. Yeah, that I think really, for some reason, captured the internet's attention. Oh man, speaking of 30 to 50 wild things, I've been really enjoying Days Gone, actually.
Oh yeah?
It is like, yeah, as a freebie, it's fun.
Alright, that's a good recommendation. I have so many Assassin's Creed alikes, right? We were talking about this last
Exactly.
time.
Everything is an Assassin's Creed like, yeah.
I'm playing Assassin's Creed Dinosaur right now, and I have Assassin's Creed Valhalla waiting for me.
Yep.
Which I will mail to you. To your new home.
Finish it, and I'll come borrow it from you.
Got it for $25, including shipping.
Oh, that's worth it.
Yeah.
I just got a text from the person who's cat sitting for me. I was like, you know, it'd be a real shame if someone was to put Ratchet and Clank on your PS5 for me. And I was like, is that the cat tax? I'll buy you a game. Like, sure. So I might have that one too, which that's fine.
Boolean.
But no, I got to the point in Days Gone where I can like start to fight the hordes.
Oh, nice.
And it's actually really cool.
Yeah.
And it did a good job of making you feel like a little less than powerful up to that point as well, which is kind of a rare experience. I'm playing on hard though. I always play games on hard.
I didn't know you did that.
I like it. Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna only go through it once, and like maybe it slows me down, but also I don't know. It makes me use like whatever mechanics are there for like boost your attack with some potion they put on the ground or something.
Would you be opposed to unifying these two all in the same big function?
Mm-mm. Nope, I don't see why not. I mean, do we even need to check that? We're just going to go top to bottom and run these conditions. Does direction even matter?
It does, because the logic
yeah.
is different, right?
Yeah. Right, because what's a force neighbor for one direction may not be for the other. Yeah, smash it all together.
Did we ever decide that cardinal was actually the right word for this?
It's the answer we came up with.
Okay.
But no, I don't think we, it still doesn't seem quite correct to me.
Yeah, because northwest maybe is a cardinal direction.
Mm-hmm. I think that's what the internet was not totally clear on, but I think it is. Yep, all that.
And I bet we can even do more fancy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is just a return false here, right?
Sure. Mm-hmm. Still gotta close the Nice.
Yeah. So we've got the diagonal case up here.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the horizontal case here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the only problem with this is that when we're moving diagonal, we have to encode we can't jump between gaps logic here and in the...
Does that go here?
It might not go here.
I think it just goes in get neighbors, yeah. We only check it to see if that is a neighbor node that we can jump to. So it's like get neighbors, diagonal case only.
Will this return a forced neighbor when it shouldn't? It can, right? Because you could have a forced neighbor that you can't actually move to.
That's true.
Right? It's basically the same thing as this valid point.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
And it's only for diagonal that we care about this stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yep. No, you're right.
I'm not gonna worry. Let's actually not worry about the gap jumping for now.
Let's skip that.
Yeah.
Let's get it in there.
Yeah.
Okay. So duplication, but this is better. So now we can take all the force neighbor stuff out of the actual get neighbors functions.
has forced neighbors goes into where?
Mm,
JPS?
Oh, right there. If has forced neighbor P. P grid W, yeah. Huh?
That we don't care about anymore.
Oh, point. There you go. Yep. Nice.
Okay.
So then, further, all that red down there is we need to take the force neighbor out of the thing we're returning.
Yeah. Because this is just, the get neighbors is just returning points, right?
We should make all these point with dir, yeah. Also above the point input, yeah.
Sorry, neighbor's cat.
Is that
It's
what's
great.
going on?
Yeah.
Aw. Whatever, man. You know I love cat life.
Yeah. What'd I do? What did I do? Whew. It's unassignable search point.
I think there's still
still
more,
a search point.
Yeah. I mean the whole
Business.
signature.
Yeah. Okay. Point with dir.
Immediate neighbors should be point with dir too. Immediate neighbors are still neighbors. We're not doing jump points yet. Yep. That one and the input. Dirge point.
And that solves almost all of our things.
Two more. And some force neighbors. Yeah. Cool.
Can I make a similar compression to what I did before?
So you got one function? Maybe.
I like how you use type rather than interface. What's the distinction?
Man, it eludes me, but I
Can you add stuff to a type? Like if you add another field, does
You
it
can-
satisfy?
You can and types, which I like. I've gotten in the habit of doing type blank and blank, so you could do. Our thing could take a point with dir and jump point information as a
Point ID is a point with dir too, right?
that's all it needs to conform to, yeah.
And eventually this is going to also have the direction
Yep.
as well.
Yep.
Oh, so maybe we can just do that now, theoretically, right?
Mhm.
Chevy we technically don't need anymore.
I think it's
We need to do something about that one.
it needs to be Euclidean, but yeah. Yep. And I think we take distance out of. Interesting. Okay, so find jump is where.
Do we need...
So the input is a point with dir, and the output is a search point, I guess. Oh no, but sometimes it returns points, so the input is also a search point.
Yeah, we don't really need the path... The whole point of this was to bake the path length and sort distance in at the
That's right.
Dijkstra level, right?
Length and sort distance go away here on 167.
Let's just kill them, right?
Yeah. And then maybe this actually can become
Point with dir.
everything is point with dir. Yep. Okay. Yeah, this is coming together a little better.
Of course I have it.
No, I love it. Oh, I return null. I think, yeah, it's interesting. I think I like using null when I'm trying to do the explicit not value.
I switched to undefined
Yeah.
at some point.
Cool. And this
Okay,
is,
so this is what we expected, right?
so path length is the missing piece here. Yep. Perfect.
Also, that's why we're calling Chevy here, right? Because
I think the distance call
intuition.
the distance call inside the loop I think was the mistake. Yeah. Cool.
Okay, so this is like now we've got the next thing in the path or the next thing that's going to go in the open list. So we actually need to make it a real thing. So the search point is going to be this with the sort or with a path. We need to do path length here, right?
Here's where we need path length. Yeah.
Equals current dot path length plus the Euclidean distance between current dot x current dot y
and jump point dot x. Yeah.
I like pair programming in the same room. It's really nice, right?
It's great, and like you're so not laggy, and I'm not laggy. No one's laggy.
Path length and historic distance. I'll just take
So jump point x, jump point y, and dx dy. Sweet. Oh, you got 2 path links.
That's nice.
Okay, and now Chubby Chub's gone. Digging it.
And then point ID, we were deciding that it needs to do point.dirx,
Mm-hmm.
point.dirY.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that probably just works. I think you removed the one place where you constructed a point ID, which was finding the last node, since that's assigned now. So that's cool. What you thinking?
I'm trying to think, do we need to add it to path nodes here?
The direction? I mean, are you saying is it optional?
Like when do we care about path nodes? Because we set it at the start. Oh, you're right. We have to set it. We have to set it. Yeah. This is the only time we ever set it, right?
These are the only path node sets in here, and it's only for building the output path.
Yeah. Okay. I'm convinced. We have to do it this way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
okay, and then
I'm still not convinced by direction, because I think if you hit the same node, you take the original one, because it should have been there first. I think when you hit the same node, according to JPS, it only will be the unoptimal solution, because it's supposed to hit optimal path first every time.
It'll hit optimal path up to that point, but you don't know anything about the path going forward.
Right, but I think if you've like looped around to the same jump point, if it's already in the set, it has to be a shorter path to that jump point, right?
To the jump point, yes.
Like once you get to the same one, you should be on the same future trajectory. I guess you were saying it earlier. The search directions coming out of it are different, but I think at jump points we actually do slightly different. We do the semantics with forced neighbors, so you actually do get a different set of points at the end that I think accounts for the other directions as well. It's hard to wrap my head around that one. This is fine. This will test it for us, so we'll find out.
Right.
So you are on the tests.
Okay.
Because I feel like we just rolled everything back
The
around.
type checks.
I mean that's passing tests in my eyes.
How do I move this over? Where's the line? No, this is not what I wanted. No.
Nope. This is a real Mr. Bill voice.
Debug current distance.
Try to run it. I mean, all green. All green, all green, all green. Who failed? Oh, well, they were looking for forced neighbors, so sure.
Oh, I see. We
tested that pretty explicitly. I mean, that's just not going to come out. Yours is so easy to touch.
Which one do you have?
I've got a touch keypad with soft buttons. I like this a lot more though. Yeah, because like I kind of have to wait for mine to wake up when I'm like changing desk height. But this is just like.
Is it yours is up and down, or does it have a memory?
It's got memory too, but like I don't actually need the memory.
You know, I thought I wouldn't want the memory, but
now you do.
I mean,
do you want the? I'll give you my memory controller. I might get a whole new desk with shorter legs.
Oh no.
Oh.
I think I'm okay.
Okay.
But I appreciate the offer.
Mm-hmm. I think they're actually
Worst neighbor. Okay, so that should be all out of the test suite now.
But most importantly, that means that the actual pathfinding tests we're already passing. Hell yeah. Okay.
So
we have three simple path examples in here, and they all worked.
Okay, you just want to plug it in the game?
Yeah, plug it in the game.
All right.
I think we could test more edge cases, but also let's just plug it in.
Okay.
as the commercial told us to do. Oh wait, do you want to do search point? Take out lines 4, 5, 6, and 7 from search point, and just delete them.
Oh, I just want you to delete them.
Yeah. And then on line
Fourth neighbor, we don't need anymore, right? Nobody uses.
we don't need that at all. Yeah, and then on line 3, do search point equals point with dir and this new type. I think this will.
Very fancy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I usually do the interface extends, but this is the same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah.
So I continue to not
And
understand
these
why.
question marks don't. They should all be there.
No longer necessary. Yeah. Wait. Good.
What is it missing? Previous is undefined.
So we depended on that behavior because very shortly after this we do if previous is undefined, get immediate neighbors.
That's fine. Isn't that what we want with the initial point?
Oh yeah, but you just made it not optional, so it's upset it's undefined.
Oh, I see. We depend.
We depended on that,
this being undefinable. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm requiring it to be present though. I want to be explicit.
I like that. That's a good pattern. So wait, did you just set it to undefined?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Good enough.
Good enough.
Yeah. Put it again. Okay. So once again, I don't know the difference between types and interfaces in TypeScript. Search me. We'll Google it again. Google it again.
Okay.
Eventually it will stick. Like I say, if you are unable to explain to me immediately too, then
The Law Rocket blog is pretty good. These guys know what they're doing. Type aliases, types versus interfaces.
Used to be more clear. Great.
Declaration merging.
Oh, is it that you can merge interfaces but not types? That's actually very useful.
Duplicate identifier. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because,
Okay, I'm into that.
you can have two different interfaces to find multiple places.
Mhm.
This is a kind of like you're moving your code over to TypeScript kind of thing. I think that's
Yeah,
what
well,
it is.
so interfaces are like kind of abstract classes versus types, which are just types. And your abstract interface can actually take.
I'm struggling to think of the use case for this, but there might be like.
I think if you had like a shared code library or something, or like in the engine actually, we could extend the interface of our things as we're using them and have parts of it that like have more properties for editor versus game, for instance.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the case.
In TypeScript, we can easily extend and implement interfaces. That is not possible with types, though.
Interfaces can extend classes. Also very interesting.
Okay.
Okay.
Intersection is a type-specific thing, which you found out.
Mm-hmm.
Unions as well.
Huh. Yeah, all right.
I like the idea of type being less permissive and therefore something that we would theoretically continue to use if we were continuing to use TypeScript. That's good to know.
Maybe this time it'll stick.
Type is less typing, but you have to have that equal sign.
After the equal sign. No, knowing that interfaces are what gets merged, I've used this before and didn't quite understand why I ended up in an interface. So that actually makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're gonna have a grid.
Whoa, I think your computer just beeped and put a beep into the. I saw the Elgato line go up for a second. That's fine.
Oh, my computer beeped.
It's fine.
So my audio is coming out of here.
You playing any sick tunes?
No,
And also, it's not.
it's not. I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know.
Yep.
The grid is now un A array,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's now also a grid width, which is a number. This all goes away. Pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's dead. There's no planner.
Nope.
Incredible. There's no planner cache anymore.
Beautiful. But that LRU cache was sick.
This.grid.set.
Hmm.
So we have to shredder on, right? This.grid world y times
Grid
this.grid width. Aren't you getting good at this math now?
It's yeah.
It's kind of ugly at first, but
It's happened so many times in this process too, where like I've looked at math and I've been like, I have no clue what any of this means, and then like 3 weeks later, I'm like, oh yeah, it's just another one of those.
frame updates, get grid checksum. This is all cache oriented stuff.
So I think
Dirty doesn't
the
do
whole
anything.
dirty thing goes away, which means the whole set on and set off thing goes away too.
So we don't need frame updates anymore, do we?
No, not if we're not counting.
Christ. And then the get path is the thing that needs to change. That's the JPS right there. Boolean is not used anymore. The planner cache.
Yeah.
This all feels good.
You know what? I'm disappointed. Even after haranguing us on Twitter, Dean didn't show up to say like, "Hey guys, what's up?"
Where's the dog? Where's the dog, man?
Or he's the one viewer watching and not saying anything. In which case, where are you, buddy?
I think, can we not list them here?
I don't know how.
No.
Nor do I care. What's over here?
Oh, yeah.
No, just XX Demon Kitty, which like is a dope name.
Yeah.
All right, so let's...
I think all of Twitter and Twitch is just fake people, right?
I mean, except that sometimes I'm a person on Twitter or Twitch talking to someone, so...
Yeah.
Am I a fake person?
You're right.
Maybe I am. I don't know.
Okay. JPS, how did we return a non-path? Is that
Empty array.
empty array?
Yeah. Which, like, undefined seems good.
Yeah. When do we potentially...
So at the very end, so I think after... Wait.
If...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think that...
Actually, that loop is what we want.
The loop was good, but I think immediately after 120, there's an if desk search node undefined, yeah. Search point. What? Next is desk search point.
It's saying that this is not possible. Oh, what?
Oh, change the type of next node to search point or null or undefined.
Yeah. Good problem solving.
I've fought TypeScript enough.
Yeah.
It turns out.
It's a fun fight.
Yeah.
It's a nice little tussle.
I spent the whole week wrestling with the TypeScript compiler at work and made things worse than when they started, and I'm very, very sad about
So this is just return JPS of
source X,
source X,
source Y.
Dest X. I kind of like the dest and source better than SXXY. This dot grid. This dot grid width.
What?
Oh my god.
No more checksum. Whoa.
And then I got 11 problems. Most of them about imports.
Love it. World 2. Okay, so I think actually, so the path we get back, I think we need to
We need to monkey it.
which you just I think we monkeyed it already. You just deleted it. Because this was we did this for the L1 as well.
Where did I delete it?
From the get path. It should still be in the diff.
Okay.
Do you use the I do it from the VS Code sidebar.
Okay.
Like
This
scroll up to the get path function. Down. And then just click on the orange thing.
Oh my god. My god.
And then you can just like kind of copy out the code you want. Which is totally that, yeah. And by copy out, I guess I mean I usually hit the revert button and put it back in. So maybe you can't copy it out. That's too bad.
That is all right.
Yep.
So path equals. Yes. Syntax.
It's very helpful to realize that my shortcuts are not actually helpful either.
Oh.
Cool. And then
If path is undefined. And then we just do this business.
mm-hmm. Yep. Beautiful.
Did we care about the offset anywhere else?
I don't think so. Why are we setting it? Oh, yeah.
We care about setting it on, and I should add that.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because this is all world X, world Y, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this needs to get a little more complicated, right?
Mm-hmm.
And its addition is the correct thing to be doing here, right?
Yeah, because it should be negative 32 for both of those for our current map, right?
Yeah, that's a horrible.
Wow.
That was much better.
It got worse. Wait, I think what if you delete all the line breaks and put it back on one line because it's doing that on the save.
It likes this.
Ew. I guess it's taking the operator precedence conditional and then doing addition afterwards.
Yeah, it's saying that these are all things. I mean, there's a twisted logic to this that I can
It's better
almost get down with.
putting it inside brackets.
Yeah.
Cool. Great.
Okay.
That is not prettier than anything I've seen before, though.
So we subtract on the way out. Is that correct? I guess it just depends on what the directionality of your offset is.
Oh, yeah. What is the offset? It
It
should.
is world to grid. So yeah, we're going grid to world here. So it should be opposite, right?
Right, great world.
Yeah, because this is going to be negative, right? To go from world to grid, like origin in the world should actually go to negative 39. No, I'm sorry, it's the other way around.
It's the other way around, yeah.
We should be adding 32 to get to the grid space.
Okay, yeah. So if we're at world 0, 0, the grid index we add is plus 32, and then we subtract. Yep. Okay. Sure.
Yep, and indeed we are.
Okay.
And then where are we doing post frame update? Because I think that is just like straight up like not happening anymore. Didn't we do that in the Pathfinder somewhere?
I thought so.
On index entity maybe?
Well, we still need.
Well, we've got one thing. Yeah, there we go. Indexes frame update. And this is protected. I'm assuming this is an overload.
Yeah, something not calling that. Huh. Now and then Pathfinder set off is part of index on index. Okay, great.
Yeah, this is part of the base. Okay,
Cool. Great.
Yeah, I mean, this whole post-frame update system here now could theoretically just be chucked out the window.
Mm-hmm. Did we add it? We added it for this specifically, didn't we?
We added specifically for index. You know what? Theoretically, I think it's actually good pattern because if you needed to like update the caches or something like that, it's not. Yeah.
Yep. Cool.
All right. Well, I mean, the game should be running right now.
Yeah, I mean,
It's just
10 minutes before the end as usual, so give it a reload and let's see if it builds. Oh, shit. I like that you turned off your display with that key command. There we go.
Oh, you know what?
Is
It's
it
just
running?
that we have players.
Oh, boop. Come on. I'm amazed it still works. Fuck.
All right. Well, let's take a look at the path.
Yeah. I want to see. I want to see what path is coming back from the Pathfinder. Because if it's anything, that's a good start.
Yeah.
And if not, we gotta run more tests.
Should I debug?
Yeah, let's just debug right there and see what's coming out. Debug current game client. let's step over and see what's in there.
Why is this?
I think if you close call stack.
That's not fine.
How's this undefined? Well, that's not right. Damn. Huh.
Why don't we? How do we?
No, did we modify? So wait, we just sent in a bunch of negative numbers to the Pathfinder, to the JPS. That's not right. -1 to -27, -7 to -24 is not satisfiable by our Pathfinder interface. So
Well, we convert it into. Oh, you're right.
No, we
it's
pass
not
it straight in
converted.
here. Yeah.
yeah. So we need to actually do some conversion there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Boom. All right, just add some numbers. As long as there's obvious bugs, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Pathfinder.
It would have been honestly a little bit disturbing if it worked right away, right?
I don't know, man. That happens to us a lot.
We're so good at this.
I like the boldness of turning off the.
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh, yeah, there's Beth. Do it.
I think it pathfinds every
I
Friday,
think
right?
it does, yeah.
No, I don't know what to do. It doesn't know how to move diagonally.
What's that?
I don't think it knows how to move diagonally.
It doesn't know how. I thought it was moving from. I thought it moved from path point to path point. Can we put the breakpoint back in? Wait, don't stop it. It's still doing it. Just put another breakpoint there. I want to see.
want to make sure if it's at the same time.
I want to see. I just want to see what path it got, because it should be. Yeah, it's like a couple nodes. Yeah, okay. It goes
25/8.
28.6. So there is diagonal motion there, which is great. It's like 2 diagonal moves.
What if the grid distance between them would be the same? They're diagonal moves, but they're not.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
They're oblique. That doesn't seem like it should be possible, right?
They're
They're not on the 45-degree lines, is what I'm saying.
25, 28, 8 to 6. Yeah, that's a little weird. Okay, so wait. So also, wait. Can we look at the path after modification too? Because I think these numbers. I mean, these numbers should be -32, but it don't really matter.
Oh, you want it down here.
I guess I want to see. Yeah, I want to see that the path matches our source and destination, which it does, which is cool. Okay. So if we go back to the map, then we can see where we are as -7.
Do you want to use the smaller map? Would that be easier?
Can we load a smaller map?
You're right. It's going to be this big no matter what, right?
I don't know if we have a smaller map. Oh, we're gonna.
There's a lot of hard-coded 64s and 32s.
Yeah. Whoops. So okay. Well. So. Okay. This is maybe not. Let's start from that path looks like it will moderately validly step from start to finish, at least.
Yeah.
But I think our implementation of movement also depended on pulling off like the second tuple from the L1. What we do on the other side of the path is a little weird. Yeah.
Do we put the first node?
I think that's why
we do put the first node, right?
Yeah, we put the start, and I think that's why we took the second tuple.
Alright, so it's movement that you think is the issue now.
Because that path, I mean, at least looks like it might have been right. Though I agree about the obliqueness. Path 2 and path 3. Okay, I mean, that honestly doesn't shock me. That should be right. And Google Chrome keeps shutting down incorrectly. Okay.
I didn't need this. The path length is greater than 2.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it should always be greater than 2, right? Unless you're on the
destination. Yeah.
Okay.
Which is how what this should be doing. Okay, so that. We're modifying variables in like a different scope, but yeah.
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, let's.
I can hover over it.
Yeah.
This is now back into world space.
And that's the next step it should take. That seems right, actually. I wonder. So, okay, I wonder if it looks like it's jittering, right? Oh, I wonder if it's trying to step backwards for some reason. It really shouldn't.
The only way that would step backwards is if somehow the first node that get path returns is not corresponding to the node that you're currently on.
Can we, what if we, like we have a breakpoint here, right? What if we look at what the path is right now and step a couple times and see what it does with a little motion?
Okay, so first of all, where is the builder? The builder is on -7, -24.
Yep.
The path, -7, -24.
-4, -26.
These are grid.
Uh-huh.
And the next tile position is -3.5, -25.5. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. And it should the next path should be exactly the same thing, right? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm wondering, yeah. And I'm wondering if the path went the same, and if after a couple steps the path will come out different. Because I'm wondering why it is doing the vibration thing.
Yeah. Okay. So this is our path. That copy does not work the way that I wanted it to.
Oh, maybe you can copy out of the right side or the left side over here.
Where's
That block. Yeah. I think you can right-click copy value. Cool.
Okay. So we're just gonna step a couple times. Is that the
Yeah. Let's step. I mean, let's just do one step and check the path. And
I think that looks exactly the same.
And the pause coming in is the updated one that got sent out, so it like moved a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. Now step again. Pause keeps moving. That seems good. Pause didn't move. The path's still the same in 6 digits. Interesting.
So you're saying the pause didn't change the second time around?
Yeah, I mean, you got that one. Okay.
It did change a little bit there.
Yeah, it's...
Oh, you know what? We're in resim. This is resim.
Ah, great. Okay, cool.
So what we're expecting is that, based on my reading of the code, like as long as the path is the same, it's going to be fine.
Yep.
Right? But as soon as we transition out of that tile,
I guess what I'm waiting to see is, yeah, when we cross a tile boundary, what happens? And that's maybe a couple steps away still. If this is one frame plus resim each time.
it's going to take a little while.
It'll take a minute, yeah.
I don't know what the hell happened there.
Same. I think once we cross the 6 boundary in that first position, it should maybe do the thing.
Yeah, because the path is still... Oh, there's the new path.
Okay, so... Oh wait, so actually, can we go back to
The new path is obviously wrong.
It's actually
new path
shorter.
is shorter.
Can we? So wait, if we go back to the game, can we look and see? Can you pull the game window up? So has the builder moved? So it's stepped a little bit off of us and then just made a beeline for this. Oh man, I can't touch the screen. Which, like, oh my god, stop it, mouse. That's really interesting because that line should not be a direct line to where you clicked. Like that's not a 45-degree diagonal.
Yeah. Well,
though, has it decided that it's actually moving strictly horizontally now? That's weird. Okay.
the Pathfinder has some issues, I think.
Seems that way.
Because the path the path is not giving us 45-degree lines.
Yeah.
Right. Does that mean that we're missing intermediate nodes? I mean, we should be able to like plan this path, right? We should be able to like just do it in the tests. You want to try this shape?
Yeah, let's do it. That sounds great. Let's see what we get back.
And this will probably be the last thing that we're going to be able to do, but that's okay.
Yeah. I think much like James Bond, JPS will return.
Yeah. It B. I love these tests. I'm going to make it C.
Oh, no, let's do it at the top with the. These are just get neighbors tests, but we have an actual
I see
map.
what you're saying. Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, that one, but bigger.
Okay, so I need to make a shape that looks like roughly yay on it.
Mhm.
And then...
Mhm. Yeah, love it. Cool.
So let us move. How many do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's just make it symmetric.
Yep, that'll be easier. Cool. I think it's yeah. We had it like this. So do you want to move from 8?
From
From
maybe 1,
1 8?
8?
Yeah.
Or 1, 7?
Let's do it. I want.
It's 0 indexed, right?
Oh, right.
1, 7
Mm-hmm.
to 6, 1.
Cool. Actually, can we do something like to the right of this thing? Because I feel like we should see diagonal, straight diagonal.
You want to do like maybe this one here?
Yeah, let's do that.
That one is 7 and this really hurts my head.
Mm-hmm. No, that is
It's 4.
yeah. Oh wait,
7.
6 4? Because we're 0 indexed.
Yeah, but it's 8. It's you're right. 6, 4. Fuck. It doesn't help that we picked a non-symmetric thing as well. Like,
Oh, it's symmetric now. Oh, but yeah,
yeah.
placement.
Then let's just console log the path because we don't know what it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then I learned something from my good friend.
Boom. What?
Oh, I'm still debugging.
Oh,
Let's see.
okay.
Debugging the other thing.
I like that I tried to pop a debugging session into the debugging session just for funsies.
I have no idea what state it was in. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass it would be to write this whole thing?
Like VS Code itself?
Yeah.
Nope, not my jam.
No, that doesn't look right.
Well, that's the grid.
Oh, that's the grid. Well, it doesn't look right with the answer.
Undefined doesn't look right.
It doesn't look right.
Now, yeah, it doesn't seem right at all. Okay. Great. Well, more mysteries abound.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where should the jump points be?
I think my cursor does show up on the screen. So if we started here,
We started here. Should be one here.
One here, one here, no, one here,
One here.
and then up here is the destination.
And then
Because it
and one here. Is that right?
Oh, this does not have a forced neighbor.
It does.
does?
So, like, let's see. We're going diagonal here. This is obviously force neighbor, right?
That's yeah.
And then here, we're going right.
Mm-hmm. That's forced.
This one obviously has a force neighbor because it's forcing it to go diagonal, right?
And the
Because
diagonal
you
one,
couldn't come to that point from any other direction.
right? And the diagonal one, since you're going diagonal and out, I think does not have a forced neighbor for its motion here.
So what it does is it checks vertically. It sort of iterates vertically and horizontally to see if we hit either the destination or a force neighbor.
I guess
and then
actually-
it goes up one, and then it should just hit.
Yeah, I guess the actual diagonal up and to the left of this one, I think, is a forced neighbor because when you've turned a corner, I think when you're moving diagonally, you do have to check. Well, no, maybe not. Something about that should cause it to turn corners, though. I'm confused what that would do. Actually, maybe it's when you start going up and you.
Yeah, I have this intuition that maybe we're not checking this. When we do find jump.
Mm-hmm. See the force neighbors. Mm-hmm.
Are we checking to see if next point is the destination? That's the question I have. And if not, do we ever do that?
Well, that's interesting.
Because I think based on my reading of the tests, once we get to here, this should be a jump point. In fact, this is actually simple enough that we could iterate through. Do you want to do that?
Yeah. I mean, we can just step through this test. I'm super down with that.
Okay. So how did you do that? Just let me do Command 2 and then nope. Yep. And then
we don't need the second file because once you start stepping into this, it'll pull up the source code.
Yeah, I want to set the breakpoint in here though.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay. Right there. Do you want to do it above that for fine jump itself?
I can step in. Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
You did it after the fine jump.
What I want to do is I just want to see what it's doing, and then the next time around we can come.
Okay, great. Yeah. Oh, I see. We'll see what the jump points coming out are. Sure.
So jump point is undefined. The very first one.
The very first one. What can we look at the values in here? Like, what is the point we've started on? 0, 6. That's. Oh well, the jump point from a neighbor could be undefined. This is we've stepped backwards. We from
Oh.
Yeah, or we stepped diagonally from 1-7. We've gone diagonally up to 0-6, and said.
Oh, so what I want to do is I want to go in. I want to be in here.
Okay, yeah, because maybe, but we've run out of path in that direction.
Okay, so the jump point, the first jump point that we find
is 1-3, which makes sense because from here it goes straight up and gets to this point and says.
yes.
So that's a jump point. Valid.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then.
Okay. Well, that's busted.
What happened?
I think it's on console.log path. Grid path undefined over here.
So it didn't find the diagonal jump point.
From 1-7 to 2-6.
2-6, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we could go through the points in the check set to actually see what it was doing there, but that does seem wrong.
Yeah.
Good. So 2-6 should.
It does do 2-6. So. Zero 6, 7.
What?
1, 3. Oh no, this is the first jump.
Oh, I see. Okay, so 2-6. So let's jump into this. Huh. So it really surely should have force neighbors, but I guess it's not.
It doesn't have force neighbors. Okay.
Well, that's wrong.
So how do we do the force neighbors? I don't remember where that blog was.
0 width, right? Jump point search, 0 width.
Good memory.
That's how I found this every time, is by going to the domain. My history pops up earlier than yours, though.
So we're moving diagonally.
Okay. And These are not the forced neighbors. These are the movement examples. Do we have a forced example? I guess there's one at the end.
I think this is just the case we don't handle.
Yeah, maybe we missed something. Can we? You want to draw this out in the little interactive version up here so we can see it real quick? I'm curious. I expect that it does exactly.
Yeah. So what I. How did I move this? Drag.
Yep.
This is basically our situation.
Mm-hmm. So if you move the green dot one to the right, you have to add it again, but that'll be our diagonal case straight into a wall after one step.
Like this one?
Yeah, that one. So it should diagonal right into the wall, which is what we've been doing. And it's a jump point. Yeah, totally. Yeah, there's our 1-3 case.
And it should be a jump point recursively, because like what should happen is we start here,
mm-hmm.
and then we go to we scan to this point, and it should go all the way over here. So it doesn't have a force neighbor. You're right. This doesn't have a force neighbor, but its descendant has a force neighbor in that it goes to this point,
mm-hmm.
and now it's forced to jump diagonally. And because this guy had a force neighbor, this guy's a jump point.
Oh shit. Okay.
Right.
So from 2, 6, then are we still in this? Oh, we are still in this function. Okay, so we can keep going then, because we should see this recurse.
Yeah. So I need to get back to that point, but exactly.
Yeah, we're still here.
I don't think we're on the 2, 6.
No, we are. Point is 2, 6. We just stepped over has force neighbors, and we're like, why were there no force neighbors?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So this is it's immediately, we haven't recursed at all yet. So next X and next Y are not valid, and we stop. That sucks. So we're not stepping along the horizontal or diagonal directions here. We're actually going undefined immediately.
Okay.
All right. So that's a bug.
All right. Let me How do I just go to the single column view?
You just close the window or close the tab. Yeah,
That's weird.
I don't like it.
How do we do the verticals? Okay, if you don't have any force neighbors, if you have force neighbors, then you are a jump point. Otherwise,
we look where you're going, and if you're where you're going, I feel like this should have, because once we get to this, we're going to return the point we find later on, not the current
should we
one.
do this?
But none of that will ever return the point that we're looking at as the jump point, which is what's really, I think, the problem. Right?
Yeah. Find jump. What it's really saying is like, do you immediately have a force neighbor, or does any of your descendants have any force neighbors, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you only really have descendants in the case of. Now you have them in horizontal and vertical. You have them everywhere, right?
I'm trying to figure out why. What is making this 2-6 point not a force neighbor though? Like, I guess it doesn't have a force neighbor, but it is like a turn point, which is maybe a better name for these. Like
a diagonal force neighbor is when it forces you to turn off the diagonal,
yeah,
right?
And a horizontal force neighbor is when it forces you to turn onto diagonal from horizontal or vertical. Okay.
So my question is like how. What was this code supposed to do? 167 to 176.
Honestly, I think check diagonals is totally wrong.
No, because this is.
Well, it's doing find jump with a fully horizontal or vertical step there. It's setting one of the components to 0. So it's. I think it's supposed to say if you're moving diagonally, you also look for jumps on the direction of your horizontal and vertical motion as well.
Yeah. So I think we just have an order of operations issue because what we really want to do is we want to have this happen before we move to the next point, except for the very first time we do it.
Interesting. I wonder especially if the use case we're doing where you, like, the first thing we do is find neighbors on everything and search all those neighbors. Well, no, we do that. We search neighbors for everything, actually.
What if we just did this first?
Okay.
And then instead of
Find jump. Like, if it's diagonal, should we actually first check the horizontals and then say, like, hey, we found one, return us?
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and then are we redundantly passing in the step direction given that point with dir has a dir?
That's a different step direction, though. That's the problem. Like, we are turning... Find jump turns the step direction a lot, so that if we pass in current point, it's on the diagonal. But we're actually we've changed our motion to horizontal only here for step x.
But we want to do that, right?
Yeah.
So why are we passing in step x separately?
Because the value in point is not correct for the direction.
But we can just make a new point here, right?
Oh, we could. I think I was just trying not to allocate. Yeah. I think it was that there was... Well, it's like you can make a new point here and here. Like, you can do it twice, or it's actually like this thing takes the same input and...
But this shouldn't be the same point. Like, when we do find jump, the next point for this one should be the one above you, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay.
Or the one in the direction of your x direction.
Right,
and the other one should be the one in the direction of your y direction, right? So, I know we're way over time. Should we just try to finish this one thing?
Let's give it
5 more minutes.
5 more minutes.
Okay. So what if I did this? I got rid of the steps.
Okay.
And then the dir is point dot
dir
x. Point dot dir y. This is going to be...
You can splat point and then...
Everything's going to be different, though. It'll be point dot... Oh, I see what you're saying.
Splat it and then just change dir y.
Point. Go horizontal. Go vertical.
Also, naming the variables diagonal 1 and 2 did not help me.
So if we go horizontally, x is actually point.x plus point.dir x. And then dir
y is 0.
Y is 0.
Okay.
And what we're really saying is if this is not undefined, then we return point as the jump point.
And then the same thing for y. Yep.
I'm going to copy this. And just flip my x's and y's.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we only go... Oh, this is fine.
Yeah, this is point dot dir x and point dot dir y works there.
And technically we should be checking to see if this is a valid point as well, right? Yes, because we're advancing x, we're advancing y. We need to we basically need to make sure that it's a valid point.
So it's sort of it's the interesting thing where we could actually, if we move that check to the beginning of this function, maybe it works better. Because like if we're immediately calling in define jump with potentially invalid points, then we can just immediately undefine.
Right.
It feels like a lot of repeating that function now if we're doing it in here.
And then what is it, grid W?
And that's point dot dir x. Yeah.
Let's move horizontally. This one's moving vertically. Okay. The next point, we could do your thing.
I mean, that is the totality of the values. Oh, I see. Oh, yeah, cool. Love it.
And this is gone.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to change the original call site.
Which was already splatting that out.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Right? That looks good.
Okay. So let's check out this test again.
Oh, fingers crossed. Feeling good. Oh, what's it gonna debug?
Oh, it actually made it. I don't know. I think it's because I switched windows in time.
Whoa.
Okay. So the point is 0. We're looking for the point 26, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, this is a jump point. It's fine.
Yep.
Keep going. 2-6. All right, let's dive
We
in.
dive in.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the destination.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have any force neighbors. It is diagonal.
Uh-huh.
And going horizontal should find one.
Yeah, so we're expecting this to return. Hey,
Yeah.
and it did.
Okay. Should we just run the full test now and
Sure, let's see if we get a path out of it. Yeah.
Where are my breakpoints?
Very good though. That feels better. Damn algorithm.
It's
Yeah.
it's got a lot going on.
I'm glad it's not just me.
1726
4-6.
4 2 3 4 6. Yes.
5-5. 1 up.
5 5 6 4.
Yeah. Okay. So because that one has a force neighbor. Yeah. Absolutely. That's correct. Cool.
All right. So should we just see what happens in the game now?
Always.
Give it to me.
Oh, you're gonna debug it too. Bold. Yeah. No, always debug it. We can break.
In fact, it will break right away, I think.
Yep.
I'm gonna.
Let's just play. Oh shit, Jeff.
We know it's gonna go around the diagonals like that because we didn't allow it to
our
compensate.
corner cutting is funky, yeah. But it picks diagonal paths, yep.
Oh my god.
Now it's really weird. The oblique path it's picking is really weird. Doesn't it feel like it's aiming a little wrong? I mean, I'm not sad.
What's
but...
happening is as soon as it gets into one of the tiles,
it
immediately starts
again.
moving. It immediately starts moving in the 45-degree angle.
Yep.
So we don't have anything that checks to see if it's crossed over the midpoint. But otherwise,
I guess if I move here, okay, it does an immediate diagonal up jump and then keeps going.
yeah, and it basically stops as soon as it makes it inside the tile that it's trying to go to. So it's going to fall short of your cursor.
Yeah, our old Pathfinder had that problem too, actually. But so look at the motion of the builder when we started here, because I think it eases into the curve in a weird way. I think that must be because it's actually repathing as we go. So it's actually it picks a diagonal and then halfway through picks a different diagonal. Is that possible?
Yeah. Let's give it the really challenging test, which is.
Oh, you're a monster. No way. Oh, dude.
We're gonna go around and then we're gonna mortar it, right?
Oh.
No, it crashed.
Nope, we're not.
All right. Well, I think.
Yeah. Good test.
Maybe because the Dijkstra's not quite working, we're not doing the priority correctly. It could be that it just it could be recursing infinitely right now.
It looks like it is.
Yeah.
Great. I love it.
Okay.
We can test that.
All right. Well.
Goodbye, JavaScript.
Get done. Session 100. Nice. Git push, and that is a wrap for session 100. We're off for the next 3 streams. Next Thursday is the next stream.
That's right. This
we'll be doing Unity.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Next Thursday. Ooh, that's exciting. I'm really looking forward to Unity. It's gonna be wild.
All right.
See you, everybody.
See ya.